Alright all, and welcome back to a new video and the anticipated Oaks and Derby preview video. Really looking forward to getting into it and previewing a couple of the races at Epsom, both on tomorrow's card and Saturday's card, as we look to into some of the big classics and hopefully find a winner or two in the process as well. It's been a very busy couple of weeks for myself, as I said in last week's video. In terms of the horses I put up, it wasn't overly great. There was two places from the 6 horses put up on Twitter. Bielsa ran very well, was very unlucky not to win, and also D-Star at Cartmel ran very well. And also, if you'd followed me on Twitter, you'd have seen that Banbridge was my nap of the day last Saturday, and he went in at 2-1. So we ended up with a profitable day last Saturday, and just probably goes to show that if you do look up my selections on Twitter as well, you can sometimes miss one or two in here, and this is definitely going to be the case. I'm going to preface this video because I'm only actually covering 4 races in today's video, but all the stuff, so for the likes of Tramore, Kilbeggan that we have over the weekend, follow me on Twitter and you'll see a few selections for those courses as well. These are just the Epsom races. They're just the main races because that's what you probably want to hear about. You don't want to hear about the 2-mile handicap hurdle around Tramore for 80 to 95s. You want to be hearing about the group races at Epsom, which I completely understand. But as a result, I'm going to keep things short and sweet. Coronation Cup, well, I'm going to touch on, but I'm not going to give you a selection. I don't like the race, personally speaking. Al-Azi is a favourite I would like to take on, but with what, I don't know. Mogul and Japan have been perennial cliff horses for me. I don't feel I should be going in again. I thought Pile Driver didn't handle Epsom when was disappointing in the Derby last year, so it's kind of a race that I'm just going to sit back and watch. And sometimes with flat racing, especially with my knowledge on it or lack thereof at times, I think it's better off just to take a watching brief. I would like to take Al-Azi on, but I'm not strong enough on anything else, and I don't really want to be going back down rabbit holes trying to back Mogul and Japan and those sort of horses, so I'm going to leave that one be. That means the only race tomorrow that we'll be covering is the Oaks itself. And I'm actually quite sweet on one here at a bigger price. Saffron Beach, who's 11-1 for Jane Chapelheim and Adam Kirby. I think I've been quite sweet on her for a couple of weeks now. I was on the Final Furlong podcast with Emma Kennedy there a couple of weeks ago. I put her up at 16-1 when she was there at that stage. I just can't understand the price discrepancy between herself and Santa Barbara, considering she finished ahead of Santa Barbara in the 1,000 guineas. I thought that was an excellent run and certainly gave off the possibilities that she should try a step up in trip. Now, it's a full half mile. She's completely unproven at it, and I do understand all those, and that's probably factored into the price, but you're getting a double figure price about her, about going into the unknowns rather than taking around 5-2 on Santa Barbara, who's equally going into unknowns. So this is it. I think she's quite streetwise. I think she should handle Epsom pretty well. She's ran very well in all of her career starts so far. Saffron Beach, she was 2 from 2 last year. She's been 2 seconds this year in the Nell Gwyn and then onto the 1,000 guineas. And as I say, she hit the line very hard at Newmarket, which would indicate you'd like to hope that she'll certainly get 10 furlongs. Whether she can get the full 12 remains to be seen. Adam Kirby, who's obviously been in the news this week with the whole stuff in regards to John Leaper and the Derby, but I'm sure he'll be plenty keen to put a stamp on this race himself. I think it doesn't look a great race. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it in terms of the Oak this year. Certainly on face value, it doesn't look a brilliant race. I think the fact that Santa Barbara's favourite would indicate it's not a brilliant race. You've also got Snowfall in there for Aidan O'Brien, Teona for Roger Varian. These are fillies. Snowfall did it quite well in the Musadora. Teona was very keen in the Musadora. She'd have to handle Epsom, and she'd also have to handle the further step up in trip when she looked very, very keen and very much like a filly that really could probably do with going down in trip, or certainly staying at 10 furlongs rather than going up. So it's a bit of a head scratcher, but I'm going to take one at a bigger price, being Saffron Beach at 11-1. I think there's enough in her favour to suggest that 11-1 wouldn't be the worst price in the world, and considering it's an open race, I don't really want to be siding with something at the top of the market. Moving on to Saturday, starting off with the 2:35, the Princess Elizabeth Stakes, and I'm going to take Archie Watson's horse in this, Parents' Prayer. Oisin Murphy takes the ride. Parents' Prayer was over actually in Naas 2 starts back when second to Epona Plays on soft ground over a mile. Opponent Plays went on to be extremely impressive when landing the Lanwade Stakes at the Curragh on Guineas weekend by 4 lengths, a Group 2 event, so that form has been well boosted. Parents' Prayer then went back to 7 furlongs at Lingfield, went slightly disappointing in 4th on softer ground, steps back up to a mile here. Has ground in terms of, has been seen to best effect on softer ground so far in Parents' Prayer's career. But that being said, there's possibilities that even on this slightly firmer ground, I think the 15-2 on offer is a decent enough each way price. Again, looks an open enough race on paper to my eyes, and I'm going to take Parents' Prayer to land a bit of a blow here for Archie Watson and Oisin Murphy. I'm going to quickly go on to the 5:15, which is a mile 4 handicap just before I get to the Derby, which I'll cover last. A horse I quite like, and a horse I thought was going to make up into a good juvenile hurdler last year, and then it didn't end up happening. Couldn't really jump. A horse called Midnight's Legacy for Alan King and William Buick. He's reverted to the flat. He ran very well and very consistently throughout the winter on the all-weather, and reappeared with a nice turf run. Went second at Salisbury, I think, last time out, over a mile and a half. It's been raised £1 for that effort, up to a mark of 92. And I suppose there isn't much change in his mark off 92, but Will Buick takes the ride. He's 8-1. I think he's got a very good each way chance in this, with I think 4 places being offered by plenty of bookmakers. I think he's solid. Again, it's a race, there's a couple of horses in there. There's a David Monizier horse in there that potentially might take a bit of beating. I think won last time out. But Midnight's Legacy is a very hardy horse, seems to run his race a lot. And he's a horse I like. I won a couple of times on him last year on the flat at Haydock. As I say, I thought he was going to make up into a good juvenile hurdler. He just couldn't jump. I think he's still a full colt at this stage as well. So it's interesting that they're pursuing with that. They obviously think there may be a bit of future in this horse, maybe in the breeding sheds afterwards as well. So Midnight's Legacy at 8-1, I think, is a pretty good each way bet. Moving on to the Derby, the 4:30 over a mile and a half. Bolshoi Ballet, the only Aidan O'Brien horse, I believe, in the market. 11-10 favourite. Is he going to win? He could well win, but am I going to back him at 11-10? Definitely not. A horse I've backed at much bigger prices. I actually put him up on my 10 flat horses to follow blog. If you'd read the blog, you would have seen me put this horse up as a tip, actually, for the Derby. A very speculative 0.5 point each way bet on Hurricane Lane at 33-1. But I'm going to go in again on him here at 9-1. I cannot understand why he's this price. The Dante winner, he's 3 from 3. He's got a good attitude. He's drawn in stall 8, I believe it is. Or is it 8 or 5? I've got the 2 mixed up because I'm packing 2 in the race. But Hurricane Lane, he's either in 8 or 5. He's got a very likeable profile. In all 3 of his runs, his Newmarket back-end maiden win, and then his reappearance at Newbury and in the Dante, all those races you thought at certain stages he wasn't going to win. He puts his head down. He's a horse that loves to win races. He's probably not the flashiest horse in the world. Maybe there's going to be something a bit more classy than him. I hold my hands up to that, but I think at 9-1, he's a very solid each way bet. I can't understand how this horse is a bigger price than John Leaper. John Leaper's been backed into 13-2. Frankie Dettori on him. There's been a bit of huff and puff about him. He did a grand the last day at Newmarket, but he still looked a very green, inexperienced horse. I couldn't be having him over Hurricane Lane, who's a dogged type, knows his job, and will stay the trip as well. So Hurricane Lane, my main one at 9-1, and obviously a legend for myself, a horse I put up on Twitter a couple of weeks ago to win the Irish 2000 Guineas, MacSwiney. He's a horse I've bantered on about for months on end when I've been on radio on Saturday mornings. I'm sure Reggie Cargan can't stop thinking, geez, is he ever going to stop mentioning this MacSwiney? I managed to get him into conversation every week. He's a thoroughly likeable horse. There are a few, obviously he's the same as Saffron Beach. He's stepping up to a mile and a half. He ran over a mile 2 in the Derrenstein. Didn't run particularly well behind Bolshoi Ballet. And also, you have to wonder whether he wants softer ground, which he won't be getting on Saturday. But at the same time, he's 7-1. I think that's a safe each way bet for me. Is a bit of a saver. Hurricane Lane, my main one. But certainly, I'm going to be having a few quid on MacSwiney, a horse that's done me very well so far in his career. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And of course, let me know know your selections for the big races at Epsom, both tomorrow and on Saturday for the Oaks and the Derby. Do you think Bolshoi Ballet is going to do it? He could well do so, but I don't think at 11 to 10 it's a one that you'd want to be steaming in on unless you've gotten him at slightly fancier prices. You might let me know your opinions down below. And of course, until next time, stay safe, stay well. Follow me on Twitter for a few more selections here and there, and hopefully we back a couple of winners. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.